Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Autism, How to Thrive, Not Just Survive. Today we're going to talk about, I have it written down, um, a pop culture connection to autism. We're going to talk about what autism is, what it means, and let's see, we're going to talk about what people's first language is, very important. And lastly, I had written a piece in the Upper Mississippi Harvest, number 28, St. Cloud State. So I'm going to read and analyze my piece. Alright, let's get started. Alright, so our pop culture connection to autism would be that Jersey Shore star Jenny, better known as JWoww, has a son. He's very little. He was recently diagnosed with autism. Okay. And I think, personally, reading the article, I think she's done quite well. Her son's made a lot of progress. They said that he was nonverbal for quite a while and is now is starting to make sentences. That is huge. I think a lot of people criticize parents no matter what. If you're famous, you're not famous, parents are criticized a lot. But kudos to her for accepting her son, loving him, giving him the best, and working with him that he's able to make those sentences. I think that's amazing. Alright, next we're going to go on to what autism is. So this is just like the Webster Merriam definition I'm reading. It says, and when I say autism, I'm usually referring to autism spectrum disorder. So it says, autism spectrum disorder is marked by impairments in the ability to communicate and interact socially and by the presence of repetitive behaviors or restricted interests. Okay. To me, well, for me, it's honestly, it's different for everybody. It's going to look different on everyone. Like, one person with autism is one person with autism. The next person might have more trouble with social stuff. And for me, social stuff is pretty easy. So mine's could be more the sensory and stuff. But it's really different for everyone. You can't expect the same thing out of me that you might see in another person with autism. Very different. And it's a spectrum. It really is. I have a really easy time communicating. There's some people on the spectrum that are nonverbal, and anywhere in between. In any skills, really. But, that's human. I mean, people in general, too. Strengths, weaknesses, differences, abilities differ, Alright, and then, let's see. Alright, people first language. So, unfortunately, I didn't learn about people first language till I was in college. And you're like, what's people first language? So usually what people would say is, oh, my autistic friend Emily. Well, it's not about being politically correct. A teacher told me that exact thing. It's about being a decent human. I love that. So instead of saying my autistic friend Emily, you put me first because I'm the person. Put my friend Emily with autism. And I think really the reason it's people first is because, like, it's not about being politically correct or sounding good or whatever. Because at the end of the day, you're talking about a person. That person has feelings and a heart, and you might hurt their feelings if you say, oh, my autistic friend. That could really damage someone. So we just got to be thoughtful and mindful of how we refer to others and how we say things. Because We want to be good people, and we want to treat our friends well. So, I think that's great. And then, are we already to... Alright, so we're going to read my little thing here. Let me get to it quick. While I'm finding it, it is a non-fiction piece I wrote about a little bit about my experience, if I can find it. I might have to look it up. Pardon me for... Okay. So... Oh, okay. This is not going well. Okay. Non-fiction. Okay, so I'm on page 8. That was my issue. Oh, and it's got a bookmark in my spot. Wonderful. Okay, so this piece is called Glitter Paint. And I might stop just to analyze some of it and like what I was thinking when I wrote this, or what I thought when this happened, or so on and so forth. So let me just get it. Alright, let's begin. Imagine that you're a junior in high school. This book. Okay. You're unsure of what's going on completely and who these people you must talk to are. Actually, I took a picture. I'm trying to... Okay, I don't know how to flip it, so you're just going to watch me. Okay, they are very nice to you, so you tell them what they need to know. And you enjoy answering all their questions. These people are in the mental health field evaluating you to see if you are on the autism spectrum. I'm going to stop right there. Okay, so I actually... Like I said in my first video, I wasn't diagnosed till I was in a junior in high school, which is very late. Okay, continuing. Before you know it, you hear that you're on the autism spectrum. This might be an imaginary scenario for you, but for me, it was and is my reality. I was crushed, crying. I told myself this couldn't be true. I would later see why I reacted this way. Society had stigmatized autism. I was on Instagram and saw a comment that said, "Oh my God, stop acting autistic." And that's where I'm going to stop for a second. Okay, how do I want to start this? Okay, like, saying stop acting autistic is the equivalent to saying, that's so gay. Okay? They're both you're using that inappropriately. That's not how it's, okay? Someone's diagnosis or a part of their sexual identity is not a word for you to use as a slur or, anything like that. It's very inappropriate. So, don't do that, please. And it's really hurtful. Like, I didn't realize how hurtful it was till I saw it, I said, "Don't act autistic." I'm like, well, what's wrong with that? I mean, what do you mean don't act autistic? Like, how do we act? I don't know. But anyway, carrying on. I educated the young woman and she took it off. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I had to say something. And she took it off. She knew that wasn't right, so. I've told someone I'm on the spectrum and they said, "You don't act autistic." I was dumbfounded. Again, I don't know. Anyway, back to my story. After hearing what I thought was devastating news, my case manager from high school, bless her heart, helped me realize this wasn't a curse, it's a gift. All she had to do was mention people that were very successful in their field. One of the names mentioned, Albert Einstein, was on the spectrum. In that instance, I knew I was destined for greatness. I shared my gift with others. I did a presentation to my class at my community college. I boldly portraying stereotypes of autism. I then stated why stereotypes such as we can't show empathy and that we got autism from a vaccine are false and shines light on the topic. Okay, let's talk about this really quick. So, a big stereotype or myth or whatever you want to call it is that people with autism can't show affection or empathy or emotion or anything like that. Not true at all. I think a more appropriate or a more correct way of saying that, would be that we might have harder time communicating it. I think that might be the piece. But I have a lot of empathy. I think other people with autism do too. It's just harder to communicate it sometimes. And then the other one, vaccines. Okay, I don't know if you've been watching too much Jenny McCarthy or whatever, but vaccines do not cause autism. There is a article, a scientific journal or something that was posted, but it was refuted because he falsified his experiment. So you can't cherry pick. You have to read the whole thing. You got to really research. Make sure your sources are credible. It's a really big thing, too. Anyway, let's see, where were we at? Okay, I served on a small panel and answered questions alongside a friend who's also on the autism spectrum. My greatest moment as an advocate was being able to speak at 3 elementary schools in my hometown through a program led by the Confidence Learning Center. Along with Confidence Learning Center staff person, we helped educate on autism. They showed a video before we came that talked about people on the spectrum and social cues, sensory overload, and everything between. I reminded everyone that I'm just one person on the autism spectrum. No one person with autism is like another person with autism. We are unique, just as human in general are. I love that, because, we're all human at the end of the day. One thing I wanted to say. Okay, that was a really good video that I mentioned in there. So I'm going to try to find that and post it for you guys, because it's on YouTube. It's really informational. It's a series, but there's one on autism, and I'm going to try to get that for you guys so you can watch it. Okay. I could tell they liked having me come to their schools. At the end of our talk, the kids would ask. I remember a specific question clearly. It was, how are people with autism different than those who don't have it? I said something like, people are like paint. Everyone's a different color and shade. People with autism have glitter in their paint. Hence how this work got its title. They asked me about high school and how I was homecoming queen. I love talking to them and sharing my story. After speaking to the kids at the elementary schools, I got a message from a former teacher from my high school. She wanted me to speak to her class. I did it willingly. It was crazy. These teenagers were treating me like a celebrity. I certainly like that, but what was and is most important to me is the message that I share. I want to share my story and the fact that hard times will come, but it's how you handle them. That's a great advice for anybody, I think. I want to spread a message of hope and tell everyone you can do whatever you put your mind to, whether you are on the spectrum, but especially to those who are, because I'm going to stop there for a second. I think a lot of people deal with adversity, in different situations, and I think having a disability, I know I've faced some adversity, makes it harder to accomplish your goals when people aren't being nice, or things don't go your way, or your disability makes things harder. But you can do it. Believe you can and you will, okay? Anyway, my story is ongoing. I want to continue to advocate and spread the message of my story. Coming to St. Cloud State University has been frightening but exciting. Husky's first 4 was like 4 days of sensory overload. But I managed to have some fun. Now it's mid-semester and I'm a successful student. I get good grades. I'm in a club. I go to class on time. I have good friends and resources, and I'm healthy and happy. I think about the talks I gave, and part of me does what I do for those kids. I love that. Anyway, it really is true, though. I try to be as successful as I can, not only for myself and my family and, my friends and my mentors and whatnot, but I do it for the kids I talk to, for kids with autism. I want them to have a good role model and someone they can look up to, and they're like, I want to do that because she can do that, kind of thing. So, well, that's about it. I hope everyone has a really great day. Bye.